All right, guys. So, welcome to another weekly trading outlook where we basically, look at the charts and then see what we have for the week, the setups that we're looking forward to take, and then the pairs that we're looking forward to trade this week. So, if you see a valid confirmation in any of the setup, or if you see any of the either buy POIs or sell POIs during the week, you can follow the trend and then basically trade, right? So let's just do a brief, introduction or recap to my strategy rather. So we already know what we're looking at for. The first thing is we need to know where price is coming from and then where price is going to. So we need to look out for what market is presenting, if it's higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and all that. So, and then we look for a sweep of liquidity, which is either a sweep of the buy side liquidity or the sell side liquidity. So, if you have this is a sweep of the previous high, which is your lower high. And then the other thing that we're waiting for is a directional breakout structure which validates the liquidity sweep and then review where price is likely to go next. And then we have structural liquidity formation, which is a structural point. Okay. And then we have the structural liquidity confirmation, which is a second break of structure. Okay. So this structural point is our structural liquidity. So we're basically waiting for price to take out our structural liquidity and then tap in this area and then go to the downside. It's as simple as this. So our entry is just a few pips above structural liquidity, and then our stop loss is, above this. Okay. So this is basically how we trade. We read the market structure and then price action to know what price is doing, where price is coming from, and where price is going to, which is basically top-down analysis. And then once we know where price is coming from, we wait for a sweep of liquidity, which is either a sweep of the buy side liquidity or the sell side liquidity. And then we have a directional breakout structure, which, validates the structural liquidity and then, review market intent. Okay. And then we'll have the formation of our structural liquidity, which is a structural point. And then for the structural liquidity to be valid, we have to, have price break another structure to the downside or to the upside. So if we invert this, we have it for the uptrend. So you can see price was going up, and then we have, a sweep of this directional break of structure and then structural liquidity and second break. So if we go into the charts, I'm looking forward to take a trade on volatility 25. Volatility 25 is selling from an higher time frame and is selling massively to the downside. You can see that there are lots of sales except for this candlestick. Now I have a trade on the 5 minutes on this point, but I don't really trust it. Right. That's why I do advocate for good confirmations before you enter any trade. Okay. If trades are on my POI or if the trade is on my POI, I tend to wait for a valid confirmation. It can be the morning star, it can be the evening star, or any confirmation that I use before I enter any trade. So from the higher time frame, volatility 25 is selling, and then we have this as a POI. We had a sweep here, a break of structure, and then this is our structural point. So we're waiting for price to take out this and then go to the downside. And you can see that price is currently here, but I don't really trust a 5 minute POI. Okay, so I will have to, wait and see the confirmation that this trade will present before, I take a trade on it. But for now, I'm not entering this trade just yet. Okay, I'm waiting out for a good confirmation on this before I enter. All right, if I don't see a good confirmation, I just leave it and then wait for another setup. That's basically how I trade, and that's how I get, precise executions. So I had a setup on volatility 15 1x last week, and it's yet to still, get to DPOI. So yes, I believe it was around here. It was around here. So you can still wait for this. You can still wait for this and then see what happens. You can still wait for this. Yes. So you can see that price was going to the downside and then we had a sweep. Is this up to a sweep? Okay, this is not a PR. This was the sweep. So if you read this market structure, you can see that this was a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then price, started going to the downside. Something like this. Yeah, something like this. And then you can see that price swept this lower high and then, gave a structural point before, we have the full break of structure. Now, this is the type B of my setup where structural liquidity basically forms first before, the full break of structure. But if you don't have this full break of structure, the setup is not valid, okay? Because this directional break of structure, tells you that this price is still in a downtrend and this is not a change of character, all right? So I had a sweep here. It's a sweep of this lower high, and then this is structural liquidity. So this becomes my POI. This becomes my POI, but price is, yet to come here. So I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting to see what happens. Although I don't really trust the setup anymore, but if price comes here and then give me a valid confirmation, I can risk something on it. The only thing is that I will have to, manage my risk very, very well. Okay. I will have to manage my risk very, very well. Okay. So that's it for V151X. I believe I still have another trade. Is it V100 now? Yes, V100 that I'm waiting for. Okay. Remember, any of the POIs that I'm giving, I already know the top down analysis, which means if I have a sell POI, it means from the higher time frame, price is basically selling. And if I have a buy POI, it means from the higher time frame, price is buying. So I don't need to, start doing my top down analysis again. I just need to, follow the trend. Okay. Now I'm waiting for this setup to form. This setup is not too valid yet. Okay, you can see that this was a sweep, but it needs to break this structure to the downside before I can trust the setup. This is a very valid structural point. Okay, but I need a break of this first, and then price has to, come here and then go to the downside. Okay, in some cases, price might just, take this out and then start going up, but for this setup to be valid, like I said, I need to wait for a break of this before it's valid. Okay. But I believe on the 5 minute time frame, we had a very tiny sweep. A very, very tiny sweep. Okay. Had a sweep here. And then this is the directional break of structure. And then this is structural liquidity point. So I can still wait for price to come here and then take out all this liquidity because all these are liquidity, right? All these are liquidity. So if I want to enter this trade, from my years of experience, I'll wait for price to take this out, give a confirmation around here before I enter. Experience is what will teach you this one. So most times price might take all this out and then, go to the downside, or price might, validate this higher time frame POI by breaking the structure before, coming back and then taking it out. So wait out for this. Okay. Just mark this as your outlook and then see what happens. Okay. See what happens. The ability to, read this market structure, like always say, is what give you precise execution, right? You can see that first I'm waiting for this break here, and then price might come here and then go to the downside. And then secondly, which is a low probability POI. This is the 5 minutes POI. I've been waiting for price to take out this and then still go. But here will be my take profit. Okay, so you can wait to see what happens, and then if need be that I am entering the trades at any of the POI, probably if I see a confirmation, I will drop it on my Telegram. So you can anticipate that as well. Okay. And also I had a trade on step 200 that was not good enough. That was not good enough. Although I didn't enter because price was ranging in the POI. Price was ranging. Okay. The market has not presented good setups for this week. So it's best you just, mark out the top down analysis for this step 200 price. Market is buying. So wait for good POIs to form. Wait for good POIs. Don't risk your capital and then, end up in loss. Okay. Every setup on this market will still present itself, but the capital that you have lost will not come back. They refund forex money, like we normally say. So you can see that price started ranging around the POI, so I didn't actually enter, and then you can see that this was a loss. So experience is what will teach you all these things. Okay. But step 200 is still buying. So if I see probably price do something like this, I can still enter, right? I can still enter. So look out for things like this, and then, wait for valid confirmations before you enter. Mostly for newbies. I'm always saying this, mostly for newbies. If you're a newbie and you are just, getting into the forex space, wait for valid confirmation. Don't set limits like these people that you see online. They are not there yet. Like I always say, the main goal of any newbie is to grow your capital. And if you want to grow your capital, you need precise entries, sniper entries. And it's only a valid confirmation that will give you this. Take, for example, if I have, okay, probably a sell POI here. Let me use this for example. Okay, take for example that I have a sell POI here. If I want to set my limit, I can set my limit from, somewhere here. From somewhere here like this. And I will just have, you can see that this is 1:8. Okay, but price can give me a valid confirmation around here, and you can see that this is about 1:. You can see that this is more valid. This okay, this was not 1:8. This was about, it's not even one up to 1:2. But you can see that this is about 1:15. Okay, so this was 1:1.9. I'll be but you can see a very good risk to reward ratio. So if you're a newbie forex trader, one thing that you need to, look out for is good confirmation so that you can have sniper entries and then you can grow your capital. If you're risking $10, you can have 1:10 and then have $100. If you're risking $100, you can basically get $1,000 instead of, setting limits and just getting 1:3 and all that. So wait for valid confirmations. Be patient with what you are doing, and then practice very well. Backtest whatever you are doing. Okay. All these loss that you see that I missed out for is from years of experience. Take for example this step 200. When price was ranging around here, I know that this will not hold anymore, so I just have to leave it. Okay. It's from years of experience that I know that all this will not hold. So practice. One thing I do tell people is that always use your weekend to practice so that when you are coming to the market on Monday, you're not coming with the same mindset. You are coming with a new mindset that you want to win. You want to, have wins and not losses. Because the end goal of every week or every month is to close in profit. Yes, there are losses. Losses can happen in the market, but your end goal at the end of the month is to, close the month in profits. Okay, so study. Forex will change your life. That's the fact. Forex will change your life. Forex can do a lot of things for you, but you have to put in the work. All right. Everybody that you are seeing that is successful in Forex, at some point in their life, they had to, choose between life and Forex. They have to study, 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 study. When I was starting, I will hold the videos that I'm watching, either a YouTube video or the people that I'm learning from their videos. I will be walking on the road, I will be wearing my headset, and I will just be watching videos, 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 videos. But now I know what I'm doing, right? So if you practice very well, you see that you do crazy numbers. Okay. So if the other setup probably during the week, they are very, very good. I'll send them on my Telegram. So look out for my Telegram as well. The link will be in this caption, and then see you guys next week or during the week in my Telegram. So stay safe, guys.